Hey everybody, it is Madison here, the multimedia content producer at Success, and I am live with you today for International Women's Day because we have a really awesome interview for you with none other than Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Now, Dr. Bryant, if you've seen her stuff on our platform before, then you know that she is a life coach, a psychologist, and so much more. And she has really gone out of her way to break the glass ceiling in a male-dominated field. She has, is this her trying to join? Nope. She's in a male-dominated field, and she has really, sorry guys, looking for Dr. Bryant. Dr. Bryant, if you're here, remember to join the live, please, so I can accept you and everybody can hear all the awesome advice and stories that you have to tell. But she's really great. Oh, there she is. Let's see. Dr. Bryant. You here? There we go. Go live. Sorry guys, we're just waiting on her. It's connecting and she's here. Hi, Dr. Bryant. How are you?
Good. Trying to get my lighting good. Hold on.
Oh, you look great.
Okay, awesome. Well, happy National Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. I was just telling everybody how excited we are to interview you because you're like the true definition of a woman who's broken the glass ceiling. So, you know, you're in a male-dominated field. You're a doctor, not a miss, not a missus, a doctor, which is pretty fantastic. And I know today we decided that we want to talk about, you know, being a woman in a powerhouse and why you can do both, you know? So if you want to kick it off, you know, what would you like to say to our audience?
Yeah, totally. First, I want to say to all the women out there, the powerhouse, beautiful, perfect, just the way you are woman, happy National Women's Day. I believe that every day is our day anyways, because I think it's important for us to celebrate ourselves every day, all day. But since they made this day about us, then we will take that, of course. I do want to say, you know, to women that there's a lot of challenges and barriers that we do face in general as women. Although we've came a long ways and, you know, we have triumphed through things from human rights to women's rights to fighting for equality, you know, in the workplace, fighting for equality to be a mama bear and give birth and have time away from our employment and our job and all that good stuff, right? We still have so much more to fight for. There's still so much more for us to stand up for. I do want to say this because it's for some reason it's really close to my heart. You know, just even as women, we experience depression and suicide ideations at 9% versus men at 5%. That alone is something that we have to collectively work together and allow outside folks, other men, other cultures and races to work side by us to start to demise and eliminate that number. And how do we do it? We start to celebrate ourselves. We start to be okay with asking for help. We start to look in the mirror and say, that woman that I see is perfect the way she is. That woman that I see is okay and accepting, this is who I am, this is where I am, and this is where I want to go. And part of getting to where you want to go, the bigger piece of getting to where you want to go is accepting that where you are is where you're supposed to be based on what you can handle and your capacity. And that there will never be a comparison between yourself and anyone else, because what's yours is really yours. Like if it's yours, I always say that the universe downloads everything that's ours, right? Like a computer, it downloads everything that's ours. So it sits right here. And then when the time is right, when we have the capacity to handle that at which is ours, that at which we prayed or we asked for, the universe goes boop, and it presses the download button. And everything that we asked for starts to download into us. What keeps those downloads from coming into our experience is when we start to feel feelings of guilt, feelings of shame, when we start to put up our own barriers. And I say, you know, our life is like a garden. I say it in my book, Mental Detox. And we tend to put up this gate around our garden to protect ourselves. But if we put up a gate around our garden to protect ourselves, because the universe reflects onto us that at which we feel and that at which we create. So stick with me. If we put up a gate around our beautiful garden to protect ourselves, we also protect anything good coming in. But when we put up that gate, the universe says, oh, you put up a gate to protect yourself. Guess what? I'm going to send, things and rodents and circumstance for you to protect because you put a gate up. And I want you to be satisfied, Madison. So if you're going to protect, then I want to send you things that will confirm that you need to be protected. But if you come into your beautiful garden and you say, oh my God, look at all of these roses that all have thorns, because we all have thorns. We all have thorns, but we're all still roses, right? I don't need a gate around my beautiful garden because I'm open to everything loving. I'm open to everything compassionate. I'm open to everything good coming in. And I have enough faith and trust in myself and my source that if anything other than the good comes in here, that I am protected and I am covered. That is affirmation, and that is prophesizing over yourself, your life, and your garden. That you're protected and that you're safe and that you're okay. Because again, it's law of attraction. Whatever we put in our garden is what we're attract. So go back to that gate that I talked about that protects us. If we put a gate to protect us in our garden, what are we going to attract? Things that we need to be protected from. If we put faith and we put belief and we plant seeds of protection, meaning love, which is really the true protection, and belief in ourselves and that we're okay, then we don't never have to experience those things coming in. And if we do, we're okay because our faith understands that to be. Another thing I want to talk about, Madison, is women understanding that this thing is a journey and we arrive over and over and over again. And this journey that we're on isn't something that happens overnight. It isn't something that is always easy. And this is why it's important for us to be in the world and not of the world. Because as this is us, are in the world is doing this. If we become of the world, we start to dance with the world and do this. Mm-hmm. Okay? We need to be just in it and have the eyes of faith that say it's not what it looks like, it's what I will have it to be. It's not what it looks like, it's what I will create it to be. We are natural born creators, not controllers. We don't want to control anything. We want to create. We create with our thoughts, we create with our emotions, and we create with our words. And if we know that, then being in the world becomes easier. We get to see how the world does because life is meant to do what it does. Life is meant to create circumstance. Circumstance is good or bad. Life doesn't know, I'm going to create this bad circumstance so that Madison can be upset. No, life is here to do what it does. It's here to just do emotional roller coasters. It's here to move energy. It's here to be calm. And when you realize life is doing what it does and it's not personal to you, you can be in it and you can create from what life gives you what you want. Life is a hammer. You can build a house or you can tear it down. But the power in it is the choice is yours. That's what makes it so powerful.
Well, and that kind of reminds me of something that we talked about the other day when we were, discussing this live and everything, which was a lot of women tend to compare, right? And, it's well said that comparison's the thief of joy, but that's just something I think that's been indoctrinated into us since, growing up in this culture of social media and everything that we're in today. And so we talked about, and these were your words, it's important not to dim the light of others, kind of the empower women mantra that seems to drive, this empowering woman society that we live in today. Can you tell everybody a little bit more about that?
Oh yeah. I always say to my clients, don't dim your light, share your light. Okay. You were perfectly created exactly how you are to attract what is yours, the audience that's yours, the circumstance that's yours, the joy that's yours. And when you go outside of that, by dimming your light, you start to attract things that are not in alignment with you. That is when discord and disharmony comes into effect. So the whole point of having light, right, of having this bright, shining ambiance about yourself is that when you walk in, your light is meant to be shared. It's meant to shine light on other folks' darkness. If you dim your light and I need your light and I'm having a dark moment, you are doing a disservice to me and to yourself. So I always say, walk in and shine bright and share that at what you have. Because again, everything is polarity. Your light can be used as a tool or it can be used as a weapon. What's the difference? When you use your light as a tool, you walk in and you're sharing it. You're empowering other women. You're complimenting other women. You are sharing information with other women. You are not judging them. You are compassionate. You are loving them. You are smiling amongst them. You're connecting. I mean, you're celebrating them in ways you would celebrate yourself. That's when you're using yourself as a tool. As a weapon is when you walk in and you say, look at me. Look at my light. It's shining brighter than yours. Or let me see whose light is dimmer than mine, right? That's a weapon. And guess what? This is the beauty about what I'm saying. What God moves through you, God gives to you, good or bad. So as you dim your light, God gives that to you. As you share your light, God gives that to you. But as you use your light as a weapon, God will weaponize that against you as well. So what law of attraction, right? Put into yourself that at which you want to be able to receive and experience from others. That's the power of creating that at which you want. We produce who we are in all of our circumstance. And lastly, we see in others who we are, not who they are, based on what we got going on in here.
I love that. I think that's so true. I mean, like it's kind of like reflection and deflection a little bit, right? Or am I
Oh,
off?
you're on point. No, you're 100% on point.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, I love that. And then, I also want, while we on this call and while our audience is watching, for them to hear a little bit about your story, because you have shattered that glass ceiling. Like I said at the beginning of this, Mrs., you're a doctor. That's incredible. And women like you, women all around the world can only look up to. And so what does it mean to you to shatter that glass ceiling? Or what does success mean to you? And like, what would you want to tell our audience based on your experience?
Totally. Absolutely. First of all, I have to say that as a little girl, I always had this big vision of becoming for something bigger than myself. I always said, I want to become for that little girl who is lost and doesn't know how to become. I want to become for the minority women of color who don't have that learned behavior, that mentor, that exposure in their household, in their neighborhood, or in their community. And I want to become all of what I am for the women across the globe who can say, wait a minute, she came from adversity. I come from adversity. If she can do it, excuse my language, damn right I can do it. And that is what we do it for. When you do it for something outside of yourself, you will always do it bigger than you envision. And the journey's not easy. Growing up, I was the first first person in my family to obtain education from a collegiate level, let alone go to the doctorate level, right? And so I had, and I have wonderful people in my family who just spoiled me and nurtured me and supported me, but I didn't have anyone I can look at for a blueprint. I didn't have anyone I could look at to say, how do I fill out a college application? How do I get funding and financial aid for this? Where do I go next after this double undergrad degree? What master's program do I look into? How do I open up a business? How do I go into a boardroom full of men and I'm the only woman? And how do I stand in my power and not come off as dogmatic and not come off as aggressive? How do I compete with the man who's been doing this for 10, 15 years? And this is my first day in this program, right? How do I stand up as a woman in my power and not be told that I only got this job or this title or this business because I'm pretty? This is real stuff that women experience. How do I, do business in negotiations with other men and have them take me serious and explain to them that this is not an opportunity for you to date me. This is an opportunity for us to make money together, do business together, and lock hands together. These are real things that women of all color, all race, all creeds experience. And these are things that we go home and we think, do I have to go on a date to seal that deal? Do I have to have that conversation that's slightly disrespectful to win him over in supporting me? No, you don't. And I'm telling you, you don't. What you do have to do is stand in your power. What you do have to do is be respectful within yourself. What you do have to do is set your boundaries and be clear about that, and be okay with those who rock with you and those who do not, because regardless of what extent you go to, again, ladies, if it's yours, it's yours. And let me say this, all it takes is belief the size of a mustard seed for you to own what's yours and for it to harvest and deliver. Listen, that person in that boardroom, that individual who may not accept you fully as a woman, or see your power as being just as powerful as those because you look different, you feel different, you speak different, your blessing, your promotion is not predicated on that person. The moment you understand that is the moment that your promotion, whether that be personal or business, comes into full effect. Understand the only job you have to do, the only job you have is to stand up in your power as a woman and be free and liberated in that. Everything else is up to God. He will deliver and deliver and deliver. And I'm telling you, because I was that woman who stood in boardrooms, and I still do it, who I'm on Zoom calls now, who I remember my first time at a convention, and it was very male dominant. And as Madison said earlier, my field is very male dominant. And let me go further. It's not just male dominant, but it is Caucasian dominant. It's not a lot of minorities, let alone African American women, who are in this field of psychology, being a psychology expert. And so, being that in this room full of folks, I had to make sure that my voice was heard a little louder, not disrespectful, not so much demanding, but I had to make sure that I had a commanding presence about myself, and that how I felt was going to be represented, even if only I represented how I felt. And that I had to make sure I wasn't personalizing things, because every woman that stood before me and that stood next to me and that stands in front of me more than likely is going to experience that at which I have, which oftentimes is discrimination toward women. But guess what? We are still doctors. We are still attorneys. We are still in office. We are still senators. We are still vice president of the United States of America. And we are still authors and rock house and mothers and wives. And we're still out here killing the game. And so we still have to lock hands with one another. We still have to push through that fight. And we still have to stand up in the boardroom and say, listen, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for her. And if one of us gets to the door, we're making or creating or kicking down a door for the other one to get in here and to stand tall. And more importantly, or just equally, I should say, not more, but equally importantly, women who are mama bears, who have brothers, who have nephews, who have best guy friends. You're not only doing it for women, your son, your friend, your nephew, they're seeing you as a woman powerhouse. Get out there and do it and make strides and open up doors and create things that we never, ever were able to create before. And they're seeing us do it. And guess what? We're teaching them how to support us. We're teaching them how to be supportive husbands, how to be supportive sons, how to be supportive brothers and fathers. So when we stand in our power, our win is for the win of everybody. Even though the fight is for us women, we are winning for everybody, because there's men out there. I just did Channel 7 News, and the anchor, Philip, asked me a beautiful question. He said, how can I as a husband support my wife? How can I as my husband empower her? And I said, let her be who she needs to be. Let her unload. Let her know it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to take her cape off. It's okay to not have a good day. And it's okay to have those feelings show up in some of her behaviors and some of the things she may say, but just sometimes be an ear. We don't always need solutions. We need you to hear us out and get out of our way. Seriously, because we're here and we're here to stay. We're here to stay. And it doesn't mean us being here doesn't allow other cultures and races and genders to be a part of it. We're just saying that we have a seat with the next, and we're going to have seats, and we're going to continue this fight with each other, and we're going to welcome the support of other people.
I love that. I feel like just listening to you talk, I'm like, yes,
yes.
Empowered myself. And I think you mentioned this too, and it's really important that to get this out there again. It's not just about the CEO or the International Women's Day is about all women: the mom, the wife, the sister, the friend, in all roles, and in business and being a doctor and everything, but being supportive and empowering women who in all areas of life. But
that's what's important, because we had to fight again for women who are mama bears, women who are wives, who are working 9 to 5s, you know, the family care. I mean, well, before that law was passed, you know, a woman could possibly and did lose her position in jobs. Another thing is some women, you know, are still not being hired when they find out they have the responsibility of being a wife and a mother, because they're looked at as less reliable, right? But on the flip side, women who don't have the husband, don't have the family, don't have that, are looked at as, well, is she valuable enough because she doesn't have that? So I say that to say this, woman, no matter where you are on the totem pole, no matter where you are in that polarity pole, guess what? If you allow folks to do it, you will always be looked upon as not good enough. But if you really celebrate yourself and we celebrate each other with the reality of what it really is, that if you are a woman with a full house of kiddos and a husband and you are killing it and cleaning up and cooking dinner and making sure that house is a home, you are a powerhouse. If you're a woman with no husband and no kids, but you're in that boardroom and you're killing it, you are a powerhouse. And if you're a woman who's just in college and you have neither, and you're trying to figure it out, you are a seed powerhouse just waiting to bloom. And lastly, you know, we're all roses. And as roses grow, we all have our thorns. And instead of looking next to each other and looking at each other's thorns and saying, Madison, look at that thorn and look at that thorn, you have 3. How about look over and say, you too? Oh, I have that same thorn down there. Oh, look at how beautiful your thorn is. You were able to get through that. I'm going through the same thing. Can you help me with some tips on how I can process that as well? How beautiful of a rose you are. And I can see the thorns that made your rose become that beautified. That is the empowerment that we have to have, because no matter how beautiful of a rose you are, no matter how much you sprout, we all have something called a thorn. If you have life, you have a thorn. And we have to understand that my thorn and your thorn may look different, but they all are the same thing. They're wounds, a part of our journey that have created character in us, that have empowered us to be exactly who we are now. They are used and meant to be used as a tool for myself and as a tool for you. And when we connect our thorns together, we get harmony and we get freedom. And that's the power of being a woman, is just being a rose and just letting that rose bloom and then go back in and bloom and go back in, because that's a natural maturation of life. We can't change it, so we might as well make peace within ourselves while we were in it and while we're not being of it.
Love that. I love that. And then you have so many more tips and tricks in the video that you actually sent us. It's live on our site right now and living on our Instagram feed, which is ways that women can identify and overcome barriers and problems, right?
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. And I see some people, Madison, they're like, the scars make us the stars, and this is amazing, and my life is a tool. And I love when people come in affirming that, because they're so right. Your life is a tool. And I want every person on here, male or female, and I know it's Women's Day, but I believe in human rights. So I want everyone on here to this is your homework. I want you all to write down how you can start to use your life as a tool. Every single day, I want you to pick 1 or 2 tools off that list, and I want you to use those tools to build that life you want every day for the rest of your life. And I want you to see how your life just catapults in so many ways, and how the universe and doors open up for you in ways that you won't even be able to stop the blessings and the richness of wealth, internal wealth, external wealth pouring in. Use your life as what it was meant to be used for, as a tool. First to yourself, because remember, we give folks what we have. And if we become a tool for ourselves, I can then be a tool for you, Madison. And I see in you who I am. So I'm able to see this beautiful young woman in you. I'm able to see this woman who's just trying to figure it out, who's waking up every day, giving her all to everything that she has. And then there's sometimes you have questions of, am I not doing enough? And then the universe responds and says, you're doing exactly what you need to do. And I can see that in you, because I resonate that within myself. As me being a woman who's, I won't say my age, but I'm probably about 15 plus years older than you, I see that in you, that beauty of figuring it out. And then I can see you figuring it out, because that's in me, right? That's in me. And so I say that let's create these tools within ourselves so that we can continue to be a tool to other women and other people. And that's what life's all about. That's what it's about. How many people can we empower? How many people can we work with? Can we lock hands with? Can we connect with? Can we thrive with? Because remember, what God moves through us, he gives to us. So we get to keep all that good stuff.
Well, and I want to point out too, I don't know if people can tell this, but at the beginning of that, shine light and you'll shine on us. Just the light that you've shined on me in this conversation you've already lifted me up. And so I think it's like a perfect example of like, how to lead and how to, empower other women, just by being true to who you are and giving back to them. Thank you for doing that. And I hope all of our viewers can see that too, because I think it's a beautiful way to live. And I think it's a beautiful way to celebrate International Women's Day and empower other women in your life.
Absolutely. And I don't know if I feel like we're ending. I do want to say, for those of you who are in California, I will be on ABC 7 News at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be addressing the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's depart, and I'll be talking about the mental health and psychological issues that come with that in regard to Meghan being a woman. And it's going to be a powerful moment, and I would hope that you all join in and listen in. I'm going to be giving tips and really dissecting that and how that has such an impact on her as a woman, from her identity, from inferiority complex, from systemic racism, and just how courageous and Harry had to be to support his woman doing that from a culture and a world that was all he knew. And so you're talking about a powerhouse, courageous woman and a powerhouse, courageous guy. And they just got into alignment, and here they are. Like I said, you and I are doing, trying to figure this thing out. I watched it. Very powerful. And I love that because you mentioned this, Madison, from the household to the boardroom. There's power everywhere, and that power is not inferior, no matter where you are or where your location is. Look at where they are, and if you look at it from a royalty perspective, they should not be trying to figure this life out. But guess what? From the royalty down to the inner city, what we do have in common is we're trying to figure out how to thrive. We're trying to figure out how to be in peace. And we're trying to figure out the best, most effective way to do it. And I want folks to take that, because that's really important to understand, that no matter where you are and who you are, we're all trying to figure it out. So this is why I say that being who you are is perfect, because you have a Meghan Markle who married into a royal family, and being who she was, it was perfect, because now she's forced to go back to being who she was, because who they were trying to have her be, it suppressed her. Suppression is depression. She ended up having suicidal ideations over dimming her light. That's the power of shining bright as you are meant to, so that you can stay in a place of peace and in love and compassion. There's no price on your happiness. There's no price on your peace of mind. Please don't ever sell it for anything or anybody. That's one thing you have to hold on to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Conversation has been so powerful, Cheyenne, and your advice is incredible. And I hope that our audience really does go watch that video on our feed or on success.com, because you give even more bits and pieces of all of the powerful information that you have to share in there. So thank you for coming on with us today to celebrate women and to celebrate International Women's Day. And I mean, everything that we talked about really goes along with the hashtag for this year, which is choose to challenge. And, challenge. What I'm getting from this conversation is just right. To look at others, not see their thorns, but see in them what you have in you, and just carry on in power and keep on going, no matter what.
That's it. One foot in front of the other, you'll get there. Whenever you're on your way to, as long as you don't stop, you will get there.
Thank you so much, Shine. That you guys got just as much from this interview as I did. I know that I'm saving it. I'm gonna rewatch this. I'm a little. But it's always such a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to the next time that I get to. And I hope that you have a great International Women's Day. Keep going, breaking those glass ceilings and setting.
I will, and I'm excited to watch you do it as well. So I'll see you next time, Madison. It's always a pleasure speaking with you and doing these lives. So enjoy the rest of your day, and of course, I'm here if you need me.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. We're going to end this live. I hope that you all have a great day. Go celebrate the women in your life and go watch Dr. Bryant's video on our feed. It really is a great one. I'll see you guys next time.